Hello, boys and girls. Welcome back to Miss Mystic Mavis, reading you another chapter of our book, boys and girls. Chapter 12, The Counterplan. Every morning before school, Alfie had to get up super early. This was because, besides getting himself ready for the day, he had to look after his father too. Remember, his daddy's in a wheelchair, boys and girls. So after putting on his school uniform, he helped Dad get washed and dressed. Next, he made them both some breakfast. This morning there was nothing left in the larder save for a solitary stale crust of bread. The boy gave his dad the bigger half, but Dad swapped the plates when Alfie had his back turned to him so his son could have it. Poor possums. Now, before Alfie knew it, he was running late. Now remember, Winnie will pick you up from school gates at 1:30 to take you to the dentist, said Dad. How could I forget? Mooched the boy. She's a good woman. She's even called the school for me so they know all about it. Well, that's kind of her, replied Alfie in a stilted tone. Now, don't be late. Don't worry, Dad. I'll be there, lied the boy. Alfie kissed his dad on the forehead as he did every morning and left for school. Unable to sleep last night, Alfie's mind had word for hours formulating a counterplan. It was simple, devilishly simple. He would hide. It was a 3-point plan. Number 1. At 1:29 p.m. precisely, Alfie would ask to be excused from double maths to go to the dentist. Number 2. Then, instead of walking to the school gates to meet Winnie, he would conceal himself somewhere. The school was vast and there had to be hundreds of great hiding places. The store cupboard, under a pile of lost property, even behind the atlases in the library. Anywhere where this meddling woman wouldn't be able to find him. 3. Finally, he would stay hidden until the bell, signalling the end of the school rang, then simply join the throng of pupils leaving for home. Psst! Alfie! The boy looked around the school ground, but he couldn't see who was whispering to him. Psst! Behind the bins. It was first thing in the morning and the whole open space was bustling with children arriving at school. Hesitantly, Alfie circled the bins and breathed a sigh of relief when he saw that the voice belonged to his newest and littlest friend. Oh, hi, Gabs, said Alfie. Last night, another 13 reported attacks. Wow. Alfie was gobsmacked. Kids found all sorts of things under their pillows. Like what? Said Alfie. A puppy's tail sliced clean off, a hairy wart, an electric eel still wriggling. And this morning, haven't you noticed anything different? Said the little girl. About what? The kids. Look at them. Alfie peered around from behind the bins, observing his fellow pupils. First glance, he didn't notice anything particularly different. I don't know, said the boy. I thought you were like the others. I thought you were smart. Alfie was determined to go back up in the girls' estimation. Now he looked closer. Noticed that the kids were much quieter than usual, many of them holding their jaws in pain. Toothache, proclaimed the boy. Bingo! See, we got there, sighed Gabs. Must have been all the sweet Root was giving out. Remember the lollies? She was giving them to everyone. You don't say, retorted Gabby in a sarcastic tone. Alfie was beginning to tire of being spoken to like he was a complete dummy. Please just shut up for a moment. I'm beginning to find you really annoying. Alfie gathered his thoughts. So, obviously, those sweets can't be sugar-free. They must be absolutely jam-packed with sugar. But why is Root doing this? just to get new patients? Some kind of sick and twisted joke, mused Gabs. Alfie suddenly remembered. You won't believe this, but my social worker got me an appointment to see Ruth this afternoon. A broad smile crossed the little girl's face. That's brilliant! What? Said Alfie, incredulous. You can have a look around her surgery for clues. See if there's anything to connect her to all the tooth snatching that's been going on. Good idea, Gabs. Alfie couldn't believe what he was hearing. You crazy? That woman frightened me. I'm not going anywhere near her surgery. Who knows what she might do? Scaredy cat, said Gabs. Alfie looked down. He couldn't believe he'd been called a scaredy cat by a girl who was only 11 and at least a foot shorter than him. Say that again, demanded Alfie. Gabs wasn't easily intimidated. Scaredy cat, scaredy cat, scaredy cat, she taunted. Hey, Miss Marple, you're the one who's desperate to find out all about her. Why don't you go? Sneered Alfie. Gabs fixed him with a stare. Maybe I will, she said. And with that, the little girl turned, flicked her dreadlocks and made her way into the main school building. The school day passed painfully slowly for Alfie. Lessons seemed to stretch on for hours. The boy was waiting and waiting for double maths when he could be put his 3-point plan into action. There's no way he was going to miss Ruth's surgery and letting that woman loose on his teeth. Alfie didn't care one bit if that made him a scaredy cat at all. Finally, the clock. It clicked into position. It was 1:29 p.m. Right on cue, Alfie put up his hand in the middle of a particularly devilish piece of algebra and asked to be excused from the class. His maths teacher, Mr. Wu, had been informed of the dentist appointment by the school secretary, and he let him go. Jolly good. I do think it's high time you had your teeth seen to, Griffith, announced the teacher to sniggers from everybody in the class. Remember, Alfie's teeth weren't that good, were they, boys and girls? Alfie said nothing. He stood up, collected his books, left the classroom. Boom! The counterplan was running like clockwork. All he had to do now was find somewhere to hide, and fast. As Alfie walked, he checked the handles on the cleaning cupboard doors. Darn, they were locked. As he passed classrooms, he ducked a little under the glass in the doors to avoid darting eyes of suspicious teachers. Heading upwards, he passed a window on the central staircase and peered out. Through the grimy glass, Alfie looked past the empty playground to the huge school gates. The unmistakable, unmissable figure of Winnie was standing out in the rain, her little red moped by her side. The woman had a big orange anorak on and was blustering in the winter wind. It gave her the appearance of a tent that was about to tear free of its pegs and flap off high into the sky. For a moment, Alfie felt a pang of guilt that the social worker was out there in the cold waiting for him. She's only trying to help, isn't she? He thought, before another thought crossed his mind. No, she's just an interfering old bag. Whew. Silently he watched as Winnie checked the time, then looked up at the school. Alfie ducked his head. Had she seen him? He couldn't be sure. Running up the stairs, the boy continued his desperate search for somewhere to hide. The classrooms were all in use. The pottery room was locked, and going all the way down to the boiler room right now was far too risky. Then, somewhere deep in the belly of the school, he heard a sound. A sound that Alfie couldn't possibly have planned, counterplanned, or even counterplanned for that. He could hear when his moped going along the corridor. Well, will he find Alfie, or will Alfie find somewhere to hide in desperation, boys and girls? We'll find out tomorrow. See you soon. Hooroo. Bye, boys and girls.